And we are live. Hello. Okay. That is my salad. Welcome to the salad. Hey, everybody. How are you doing? It's hey, everyone. And so let's see. I'll do the thing here. I'll put our names up so we can see us. I'm John from LearningHerbs, and this here, that way direction is Rosalee from LearningHerbs. And welcome to HerbMentor Live. We're here live on Facebook and a few places. We are live on YouTube. And so what I'd like to tell everybody right now is that there's a chat thread that's like under the video where we're showing, or if we're on YouTube, it could be next to it. Use that to ask questions, and please do not use Facebook Messenger, because if you send Messenger, we don't see them. So you want to use the chat. And if you have some challenges with that and you're on Facebook, just go to the LearningHerbs.com Facebook page. It's playing on there too. Like if you're on the Wild Remedies page or the Alchemy page and you want to comment and something's weird there, go on over to the LearningHerbs.com Facebook page and you are going to see, you're going to see us right there. And then you can easily comment. I'm going to just make sure my audio is good and it looks great there. Sounds great. And it's good to see everybody. And let's see. And I'm also going to show here if you're, that's what I just said. If you're watching on Facebook, LearningHerbs.com page, easiest place to watch. All right. So I'm going to put that over there. And we see, who we see here? We got Pat's in Oregon and Canyon Lake, Lori in the UK. All right. Wow. Yeah. Kellyanne from New York, and Beverly, I don't know. Alicia, Vegas. Wow, cool. Let's just say hey to everybody. It's good to see you.
Yeah, great to see everyone. Lots of Oregonians somehow. Maybe they're just catching my eye, but
yeah, seriously.
Wow. All right. Brazil.
Cool. So you might have seen this little salad that I have here. This is actually made from wild plants in my yard. We're gonna do a little show and tell and make the salad a little later. Put a little presentation together, and I'll show you everything in here. So you could maybe, if you have these plants grow in your yard, you can make them too. So we're on here answering questions. And so it's good to see everybody. It's 2:00 now. And if you have a question, just type it on into your chat right there in Facebook or in YouTube, not to Facebook Messenger. And we will get going right away. And but it's great to see everyone saying hi. We're here. All right. We got collected sheep sorrel today, Heather says. Nice. All right. New Brunswick, Canada.
Wow. Mary's in from the Methow. Me too. Wow. She probably knows
miner's lettuce. Missed the miner's lettuce here in Oklahoma. That's what she said. Liana said. Cool. Let's see. All right.
Yeah, from all over the United States, all over the world. Canada, Belgium.
It's amazing how many folks are on right away. Yeah. Wow. Cool. Can you see both Facebook and YouTube? I can. So we have this software we're using where the Facebook and YouTube comments all come in one thread for us, and it's broadcasting to both places. The easiest place for the Facebook comments to show up is if you're on the LearningHerbs.com Facebook. I also posted it in the Alchemy of Herbs group and the Wild Remedies group, and you could comment there, but you have to do some weird turning on permissions, and some people don't like to do that. So if that's your situation, then you just hop on over to LearningHerbs.com or put that in your Facebook, and you'll see us right at the top of that page. And it'll be a little easier to comment and stuff. I just like to put it there in Wild Remedies and Alchemy so everyone can see that we're on here and doing it. And some people just like to watch anyway and don't like to interact. So, but we can see your comments. Julie from Kennewick and Karen Rose from LearningHerbs. Say hello to Sandy. Hi, Karen Rose from LearningHerbs. Cool.
Nice to be here, Karen.
That's great.
Isabel, I moved my mic closer, so hopefully my sound is more in tune with John's now.
Well, maybe I should just talk about oh, wait, what did you do?
Well, I just moved it closer to me, so hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, you sound great.
Okay. Yeah, Isabel
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
saying that you were louder than me, so
Oh, maybe I should put mine back.
maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, I feel like I'm being a little boring here, just reading out names. So maybe I should talk about my salad. Should we talk about my salad? I
Yeah,
guess
let's
talk
hear
about my
about your
salad.
salad. That sounds very exciting, John.
So anyway, let's see. I'm gonna mind if I go for a second on full screen here, and I could just show it a little better for
All right.
a second here. And here we go. There is the whole salad. So I'm gonna make the salad here. So what I thought I would do is do a little tour of my yard that I had today. I'm going to get Rosalee on here with me too. So first, I have to find the screen, and I have to get that set up for myself so I can get that set up for you. Let's see. And you see any questions there? Usually I do this kind of stuff while Rosalee's answering questions, but it's totally okay. Share screen, and then we're going to go to this one. And I think I could go to some sort of like slideshow thing. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I know that place.
Yeah. All right. There we go. So cool. So now I'm going to do my slideshow and do a tour of my salad. Oops, that thing wants to just go on its own. There we go. So this right here is that's my house. So my little house was built in 1889 by somebody a really long time ago. And I live in a little Victorian town in the northwest tip of a peninsula in Washington State. And what drew us to that property there, like 7-8 years ago, if you look at there, it's like, wow, there's it's not a big yard, but there were a lot of our favorite herbal friends growing there. There was like comfrey was like, we could tell. I mean, it was actually winter time when we looked in, but we could see the so-called skeletons of a lot of the herbs that were growing there, even in winter time. So we could see what was going to come up. But we were pleasantly surprised when we saw so many of our favorite wild plants naturally growing there, like St. John's wort and mullein and comfrey, and so many of our favorites. And one of our very favorites, I was so excited to see just kind of growing by this old treehouse fort that they built, was this miner's lettuce. And so I have an empty bowl here. I'm going to build the salad. Okay, so right here is this miner's lettuce, and so there's the leaf right there. Now, Rosalee, this is not. Is this Siberian? This is Siberian miner's lettuce, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I think the miner's lettuce, that's just called miner's lettuce, could be used the same, is like, what do they call it, where the stalk is coming through the middle and the leaf is round, like circular around it, and it goes through the middle? I don't know the name of that leaf pattern. Circular? Circular. I don't know. You just wrote a book.
Sure.
Is it in, let me get out my copy of Wild Remedies, and let's see if I can look up what leaf shape this is. Would be if it wasn't if it was regular miner's lettuce. But Siberian miner's lettuce grows here in the Pacific Northwest. It's a succulent and very juicy. It's kind of like all these photos I'm showing you right here. I took these photos this morning with my phone as I was going around and picking it. So it was a nice, there's always water on the lawn in the morning where I live, even in the summer. So it was especially rainy recently, but this is very succulent, very, very tasty. We love miner's lettuce. And Rosalee, I don't know much about miner's lettuce other than you just eat it.
Yeah, that's what I know of it too. It does have that very like fresh spring taste, and like you said, like lots of moisture content in it, so it's very refreshing.
Yeah, it's very refreshing. If anyone has any points about these plants or favorite things or something to add, feel free to throw it in the comments there. So it's not the miner's lettuce we have out west, Chris says, but I'm in the West, so it grows this Washington State. It does grow. It did grow in my old property, but for some reason I've never seen it. Usually I would see it in the forest, but for some reason in my little yard it grows all over the place, and it's quite amazing. So also, let's see what we have next. Where's why isn't my my screen over here? It's not seeming to. I'm trying to click on the next button, and it's not going. What's going on here? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having some technical issues.
I can hear it's not.
Yeah,
with you.
I know. It's I'm just clicking on it and it's not going anywhere. Just darn it. Let's see here. This is live television here at its best. Let's see if I can.
Well, I could mention that.
I'm going to force quit that app and then I'm going to put it back up again. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to mention that the genus for that is Claytonia. So, and I think there's several different species. I don't see it as much where I live now, so I don't know it as well, but that's the Claytonia genus for the miner's lettuce.
I think I'm going to just application window. I'm just going to keep it really simple here and just use this. Let's see, instead of going to slideshow, you just put that view on. So this is chickweed, and a lot of us know chickweed here. So I'm going to add some chickweed too. And chickweed is one that you talk about in the new book. So what are some things besides just eating it, Rosalee, things we can know about chickweed?
Well, eating it is my favorite. I love to eat it fresh. It's so good in salads. I also every year I make quarts and quarts of pesto from it because it's such a prolific plant. And then I freeze that and chickweed pesto in like December, January, February when I'm craving green things and there's not a lot of green things out there, especially locally. It's just, I love that so much. And we put that pesto on everything, meats, veggies. Love it on eggs in the morning. But the plant, when you eat it, it's kind of similar to the miner's lettuce. It has that very fresh, green, very moist kind of sensation to it. And it's a very cooling and moistening plant. And so we use it for a lot of signs of dryness and heat. And that could be like a poultice on a rash that feels hot and is dry. It's used for dry coughs. Very famously used for pink eye. You make a poultice out of it and put it on pink eye. Helps clear out the infection. If you have pink eye in both eyes, you make 2 different poultices. So anytime you have that heat and redness is really great for it. I really like it as a salve. It's a really wonderful kind of anti-itch medicine too. And you can use it fresh as a poultice like that, but you can also make it into a salve for that itchiness. And whenever I make chickweed salve, there's just me and my husband, so we don't need like 8 jars of it. So whenever I make it, I generally make it in large quantities, and I just make an announcement like I've got chickweed salve, and they get snatched up right away because people know how wonderful it is. And because it's so high in nutrition and especially high in minerals, I really like to infuse it in vinegar because vinegar really pulls out the minerals well, and then you can use that vinegar on your salads.
Pat says true miner's lettuce got its name because of the vitamin C content. Actually, it's interesting, Pat. When I did kind of have it sit in my mouth a little while, I was getting a hint of vitamin C in here, like that little bit of that flavor. Sort of like, I think it's in there. That's interesting. Now, Rosalee, what about a pesto with miner's lettuce?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, we have so much. I think I'm going to try I'm going to try making that. I think that'd be really great.
Yeah, I think that sounds delicious.
Yeah, miner's lettuce pesto. Ooh, see how we get the ideas here? You just, you can just make stuff up. I think it's wonderful. So that's chickweed. So I added chickweed to my salad, and we got the miner's lettuce in there. What do we have next?
Let me answer some questions real quick, just because people have some questions about chickweed.
Oh yeah.
Holly, I like to use apple cider vinegar. That's one I use most often, but you can use any kind of vinegar that you want, really. But that's often my favorite. And about dried chickweed. The thing about dried chickweed is like when you first dry it, it looks okay. It'll be green and you can make some teas out of that. But pretty quickly, chickweed loses its color, loses its taste if you make a tea out of it. So dried chickweed is really not good. It's really best to have this fresh. Absolutely.
When it's interesting in our yards, you see it here in my yard, but there's not a ton of it. And So one little thing that we used to do is go over to like, if anyone belongs to like a local farm CSA or our local organic farm, so you can just go, if you know the farmers and get to know them, it's a great place to get your weeds. And we just go into the hothouse or the greenhouses where they might grow tomatoes or things like, and growing on the floor like the entire thing, or all in between the outside rows of vegetables. It's like chickweed and lamb's quarter, and
I've actually done that with your family. I remember I came to visit you once, and that was like what we did that afternoon. We went to the local CSA, and they had so much. It was just amazing, and it grew so thickly. We all had scissors, and we just cut it. We just snipped it all off, and came home with bags and bags of it. It was so awesome.
And you can get so much at once without even hardly trying. Even lamb's quarter, to the point where years later, like we got, so the farmer always first thought it was just this really funny, cute thing where we would show up and we'd get our CSA box at the farm, and we'd be like, "Oh, see ya, Eric," and we go in the back, and we come back with like bags of these, like, and at first he'd like, "Oh, good, you're weeding my property for me," But like years later, fast forward, and he started adding chickweed and some miner's lettuce into the salad mixes.
Nice, that's cool.
Give people, so he got to know that these were wonderful plants to eat, and nutritious and delicious. So the next plant that I gathered here is, these are some nice photos, huh? I just got this. That's kind of, I wanted to impress Rosalee with my photography today. So that was part of what I was trying to do. So I'm gonna add some dandelion leaves to my salad now, and these are nice,
lovely and young and tender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're perfect. We're really perfect right now. And not too many, right? Because this is all very succulent. I could just eat this whole thing, but put a few of these in there. Get a little bitter in here, and these taste really good too. So I'm going to put some of that in my salad. And dandelions. I mean, we could probably just talk all day on dandelions, but maybe specifically, maybe it's what people shouldn't pick. Let's start there when it comes to dandelions. What do you say, Rosalee, to that? Like, what to look out?
Actually, I did an interview yesterday, and the person asked me, they said, "So is there anything you can tell me about dandelion?" And I said, "Have you got all day?" And she laughed, and I was like, "No, I'm serious." We could spend all day talking about dandelion. So it was a good container, John. Let's just talk about the leaves. Well, the leaves are really wonderful this time of year, especially for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, and those young, tender leaves. And when you taste them, they will have a bit of bitterness to them. And the thing about dandelion leaves is that they can be more or less bitter depending on the time of year, depending on the plant, and also depending on the person's palate. So, what's like a little bit bitter to me might be way bitter to someone else. So, or vice versa. So I always recommend, like, you find dandelion, you properly identify it. There are some lookalikes out there, so you want to know that you have it. The dandelion has those toothed leaves that you can see there in John's wonderful photo. And it has a smooth margin on the back. So there's some lookalikes that have like prickly on the back, or a more hairy quality to the leaves, but dandelion leaves don't have hair on them. And so once you've properly identified it and you're 100% sure it's dandelion, then give it a nibble and see how it tastes. And if you think that tastes like something you could eat a salad with, even if it's not your like only thing in your salad, then absolutely harvest it. Once the leaves start to get looking older and they're kind of more tough and coarse, they begin to get bitter and bitter. And so the person, someone's bitter palate might start to complain after a while. But I found dandelion leaves, like if they're growing in the shade, especially, like I found them well into the summer that they were still delicious. So it just really depends on, what the growing conditions are.
I want to mention too, like I'm showing you this big bowl, and this is all like a wild food salad, and it just so happens that miner's lettuce is very succulent and almost as like lettuce from like you might get in the store, like almost like it's a little thicker and juicier and all. But you want to be a little careful. So if you just wanted to gather a few young tender dandelions from your yard today, or even some chickweed, just put a little bit in there, because if you have this big, some people they get very like enthusiastic, and they put a whole bunch of wild edible plants in. Oh, I'm going to get some sheep sorrel, and I'm going to get some chickweed and dandelion. They make this just very, and they eat that and it's like, oh, well, okay, maybe that was a little too much. So they're so packed with nutrition, and these aren't the domestic plants that we're used to. Like I said, with the exception of the miner's lettuce, I could just eat this whole thing. But I don't know how many people out there are going to have access right out in their yard to this beautiful array of miner's lettuce. But it does grow out there. So absolutely. So yeah, dandelions, and I don't quite have any. I have a couple dandelion flowers. I could put a couple of flowers on there. It was morning and they weren't opened up yet. It was wet and stuff, but I have seen them out there for sure. Oh, good. Put Rosalee's plant monograph for dandelion out there. So I went along here and that's the garden from the other view. I live on a hill looks west, and that's looking north and west right there. But at the other end of that fence, it just is a drop off, like about a 6-foot drop off right to where my truck is. And so right now, that's what the garden looks like. And as you notice, it's not a huge garden, but trust me, it's more than you need for most medicinal herbs and things that we use. It is a garden, so we choose what's growing in there because things that we like to have with us. And actually, many plants in that garden were brought with us from many other homes that we lived in. When Kimberly and I first started dating 23 years ago almost, early on, when I first started taking some herbal classes, there were some herbs that I remember the plant sale. There was this plant sale, and a mentor of mine was there, and she was sold plant starts, was one of her side businesses. She used to actually sell to a grocery store chain at PCC, which is, if any Seattle people, you know what that is. And I bought a marshmallow and elecampane plant. I bought some mugwort. I bought a bone set and few other plants that we still have. Like, we've dug them up and took them with us to like in 10 different properties that we've rented, that we early on, when we had the kids early on, the first few years, we moved a lot. In the last 15 years or so, we just lived in 2 places, and we've been here about almost 7 years. But those same plants have been with us. There's plants in this garden that are older than my son, which is interesting. So here is growing right there is a little wee bit of spearmint. I believe it's spearmint versus peppermint. That's what I kind of been thinking it is, though it might be peppermint. I'm not sure. What do you think, Rosalee, looking at this? This is young. This is just sprouting up.
Yeah, it's tough to tell.
Tough to tell, but I think it's spearmint. And it's my salad here. You can always put mint in a salad, and I just want to put a little bit in, right? We're not put a ton of mint in there, but I think it gives it a little bit of flavor. You were just talking about mint the other day when we were talking, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have mint in our book, Wild Remedies, which is a book about, foraging your local plants, because mint does grow fairly.
Don't buy it yet, though.
All around. And so you can find it growing out there. Of course, it grows really well in gardens, almost too well sometimes. But it's kind of like an unexpected, it's a wonderful aromatic plant and somewhat unexpected probably in a foraging book. But yeah, it brings so much delight, and it's a wonderful.
Wow, that's spearmint. That's definitely spearmint.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Woo! I'm awake.
Yeah. So, of course, I add a little bit of mint to a lot of teas. It's so lovely in the summertime. I love mint fresh. I mean, it just tastes so good, and I love to infuse it into cold or lukewarm water in the summertime. And it just gives such a lovely taste to the water.
Yes, absolutely. So you got a little mint. Now I'm not going to put it in my salad. I mean, I could, but it's kind of tough and rough, even when it's young like this. And this is lemon balm, Melissa officinalis. And that's a young lemon balm leaf. And I could do the same and rub these in my hands. And the reason that's why I'm showing you this today, actually, it's such good medicine. Right now, with a lot of people, there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress that's going around right now. And so something that I did, so last summer, I had a big health issue. It had a lot to do with anxiety in my nervous system. And this patch here of lemon balm was much larger there, and I've got a ton of lemon balm growing all over, and it's easy for anyone to grow. You just take this and I'm just going to rub that in my hand, and I just like, one time my son came home and he was really stressed out, and he says, what do I do? I said, go out to that lemon balm patch and just rub your face in it. And he goes, does that. And he comes back and goes, I feel so much better. So I'm just showing you this because this is a great medicine for right now. What do you think about that, Rosalee?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been drinking lots of lemon balm tea, and I love it dried as a tea. And I do the same thing with it fresh. So I was talking about with the mint in the summertime is harvest it fresh, chop it up, infuse it into cold water. What I do is I have those like big 1/2-gallon jugs. And so I'll just like take, like a handful of it and put it in there, fill it up with water, put it in the fridge overnight. In the morning, I strain it off, and I just drink that throughout the day. Another thing I always do with lemon balm in the summertime when I'm traveling, I always drink lemon balm water when I'm traveling because, just traveling and get a little tummy upset or just the anxiety of travels. And I just always love having that one around. But yeah, there's been so much discussion right now of like what herbs to take for immune system, what herbs to take for fever, which is obviously very relevant right now. But I think sometimes like, whether or not we get sick, I think almost all of us are dealing with some level of anxiety, nervousness, just, dealing with fears, uncertainties, etc. So I think the herbs for our nervous system, herbs for calming us and reassuring us, I think those are just as important right now. As we're all going through this.
Absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to like give any impressions here, but lemon balm has some antiviral actions and properties too, right?
It does. Yeah. It's been studied specifically for herpes simplex virus. And I remember just looking that up the other day to see what other viruses that it's been tested against. And now I can't remember what became of that search, but with herbs and viruses, if an herb is effective against one virus, like in this situation, we know that lemon balm is effective against HSV. It doesn't mean that it's effective against all viruses. And I definitely see that confusion out there sometimes. So, and I guess I would also say just because it hasn't been tested against a virus doesn't mean that it's not effective against the virus. There's that too, right? But, it's like we're all putting together as much knowledge as we can, whether that's, personal experience, historical use, and then, what scientific studies can show us as well. And that's, I think by putting all of those together, we get a good picture of what herbs can do. But I'm hesitant to say that like lemon balm is like an antiviral effective against many different viruses, because I don't know if that's necessarily true.
But if you do get cold sores and make an oil out of this and make a lip balm from the oil, then it's a good ally for you to have.
Absolutely.
What do we got here? Oh, you know what? I didn't pick any of this here, but because I didn't want to disturb my mighty plantain. This is the very beginning. This is just the spring. This is just the start. By August, this thing is going to be like big. These leaves will be bigger than my head. It's like this one specific plantain in my garden that comes back year after year, and I just had to go, oh, plantain's coming back, and it's like the only one. It's like, but this one is if anyone, we do these in the summer. I'll try to bring a picture of what this looks like. I've posted it before, like years ago, like on Facebook page. Like, oh my God, people are like, oh, and I made a joke once, right, Rosalee? I said I was using
oh yeah. Yeah, you made some joke about Roundup or I don't know, fertilizer or something.
Like I was using growth.
Oh, fertilizer. GMO. You said they were.
Oh, yeah. This is my GMO plantain. I genetically modified plantain, and it was really huge. And I put that on Facebook, and I had like people like who got the joke, but there were some people that were like, I can't believe you're making GMO plantain. Well, first of all, why would you do? And second, like, how would I make GMO plantain? I've got a lab. I got an herb lab where I make genetically modify weeds. But anyway, I just had to share that. So calendula. Calendula is like a weed in my town. Like it is literally, some people get it to grow in their garden. For us, it's like everywhere. Down the street, down the block, cracks in the sidewalk, usually in the summer. But right now, this is literally the garden this morning. And so, Rosalee, I'm going to put some calendula petals on this. They're edible flowers, calendula. But calendula has a lot of other wonderful uses. And you have a whole chapter in your Alchemy of Herbs book, right? On calendula. Do you? Yeah. No, you don't.
No.
Oh, it's a bonus chapter.
It's a bonus chapter, yeah.
I know I've seen it. So somewhere, yeah, it's in the
It's the
bonus
B-side.
area? That's the B-side. The B-side is a calendula, right? Anyway, say something why I put this on.
Yeah, calendula. Yeah, it really does grow like a weed there. It's amazing to walk down. There's just so much calendula everywhere. Especially it's like going on right now because for me, I get calendula in August. So there it definitely has a very different growing season.
We do too.
Yeah. And calendula is such a beautiful thing to add to salads. And when we eat calendula in salads, what we like is just the petals. And so you separate the petals from the base of the flower, the sepals. But when we make medicine out of it, we want the whole flower. And sometimes I see that confusion out there. People saying like, oh, when you make an infused oil from calendula, then you need to take the petals off, of the bottom. But it's actually that bottom part that's really resinous, and that's our medicine. And so if you're making medicine with calendula, tinctures, teas, oils, you always keep the bottom part on. And when you feel it, when you harvest it, it's very sticky.
Yeah, it's sticky right there.
Great. It has a very particular smell. Like it's not strong, but it's very calendula. I love that smell. That kind of resinous-y smell there.
Everything smells like mint.
Yeah, I'll bet. Spearmint, balm.
It's looking colorful now.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Calendula is so fun to add to all sorts of cooking. You add it to rice. You can cook it, actually cook it like in your rice or have it raw. Add it to baked goods. It'll look pretty in baked goods too. But really strongly, it modulates inflammation. And, those colors tell us that's really high in all sorts of antioxidants, especially things like beta carotene. So lots of healthy nutrients in there for us, but it's just really wonderful, especially for modulating inflammation.
Absolutely.
I love it in digestive teas.
My favorite calendula story is when we got married. It will be 21 years this June 14th. We grew calendula seeds and made little pots, and we grew like we had a lot of people come to the wedding. We got like 100 little starts, and everyone got to take one home. So we started our marriage with spreading calendula all over the town. And I'm sure and I had reports from people who were at that wedding years later who said, that calendula took over my yard, took over my garden.
How lucky.
It's just what we do. There's a little close up there. And so this is not one I'm going to put in my salad, but I just wanted to show you because this is one called Cleavers, and you might know this because they stick together. I picked it like a couple hours ago, so it's not as sticky. Oh, it's sticking. It kind of will just stick to your clothes like that when you go by, sort of like a Velcro in a way. And I'm showing you this because this is a really great ally for your lymphatics. And so, at the house a few weeks ago, Haley had a cold, and you just kind of feel like there's some kind of sluggish in there every once in a while. And in the season, you get a little you can feel the lymph nodes are swelling up a bit. You could make a tea or an infusion with these coming up right now. I could just chop those up and make a tea with that and drink that, and that would really help that out. Do you have more about Cleavers as far as how you like to use them like that, or?
Yeah, I like to harvest them. They're another one that's really great fresh. I harvest them in the springtime, and then I like to chop them up and put them in the blender with a bit of water and blend that, and then strain that off. And that's a really great way to it's called a succus. And so it's just a very fresh, bright green way to have Cleavers. And you can also preserve that fresh qualities with a tincture and by extracting into alcohol or extracting it with vinegar too. So either of those work. But definitely another one. So many of these that you're sharing are great, fresh.
So it's like a
calendula dried, and you can definitely use calendula when dried.
Yes. But I like that. It's like making a Cleaver smoothie, adding a little Cleavers. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, so I just had to take a picture of this. This is the larger Oregon grape species, the aquifolium, the Mahonia aquifolium, and not the one you'll find in the forest around here, but the one that's been planted all over, at least in Washington. And so we planted one too, because why not? They grow great where we're at. And down the street the other day, there was a few of these, and they were flowering. And so if I had those flowers, I might take a few of those little Oregon grape flowers, the little yellow flowers, and add them to my salad too, because that's a good time. I mean, you can eat them. They're a little sour, as you'd imagine, sort of like a lighter version of the berry, that tart. That's what I'm trying to say, but still packed full of nutrients, I am sure. So there's lots we can talk about Oregon grape, but I just want to show you Oregon grape there. And don't forget some of your culinary herbs that are in there too right now. So this is rosemary, and this is thyme. And so Kimberly had been having this bit of a lingering cough from that same cold that Haley had. Wow, it was a cold. It wasn't the coronavirus. And so I was just like, well, let's just go out and let's just go out and get some thyme, and then we could make a tea, make a steam, breathe that in, and thyme is time honored for coughs. And so and a lot of people have this already growing in there. So even though it may not be one that's in the Wild Remedies book, for example, it's one that a lot of people have that you can use right now, right?
Yeah. I've been using lots of thyme myself. I've been doing steams whenever I go to town. I'll just come back when I get home, wash my hands, and do all that stuff that we're doing now. And then I do a steam and I love thyme as a steam. I did learn that you can overdo it pretty easily, though. It's pretty aromatic. And like the first time I did it, I had this older thyme, like a couple years old, and I thought, oh, this will be perfect to use up as a steam. And it's kind of old, so I'll just throw in a pretty big handful. Oh, it's still potent. I probably should have smelled and tasted it before I did that, because I definitely felt that in not like an entirely pleasant way. So I'm using less now, like more of a spoonful rather than a handful. But it smells so lovely. And the steam, it's a hypothetical preventive right now, just like a precaution you could take after you go out and you come back in, do it with steam. And what I mean by that is basically you're making like thyme soup or whatever herb that you put in there. And then you have a bowl with that steaming, the steam coming out of it. And you put your head over the bowl, and you put your towel over your head and kind of trap the steam in. You got to be careful. Make sure you don't overdo it or get your face too hot, too close to that hot steam. But once you get it, just right, then you can just hang out and breathe in all of that wonderful steam. And it's what I like about it. It's like, we don't know for sure, if that is really a preventive for the COVID-19, but it's cheap, it's easy, smells good, and it also works as like a spa treatment for your face. So there's really just like win-win-win. There's no reason not to do it. So I've been doing that. But you can do steams, to improve skin health, but you can also do them clean out congestion in the lungs. That's kind of the best thing, is whenever you have congestion in your sinuses or lungs, the steams are just really wonderful.
And it's a medicine cabinet that's like always, it depends, of course, where you live. But for me, especially like thyme and rosemary, oregano, and sage are always out. They're always out fresh outside growing. I can pick them any time of year. So I don't even have to pick them and dry it. It's just there. So they got nice new growth coming up now this time of year. But and that's the thing. What about we also like another big oregano bush. We have like this sage growing out there. I'm thinking just even cleaning supplies. Talk about people running out of cleaning supplies and things like that now. But like oregano, everyone knows, like, right? We could probably make a strong oregano tea and white counters down with that, right?
Or my favorite is
I just totally made that up, but that should be.
I like to do a vinegar extraction with the Oregon or thyme. And then you can mix that like a third vinegar to 2 parts water and use that. That's pretty much all I use for cleaning.
Wow, there you go. And so just don't forget the way these, very potent herbs we have growing out there, maybe in our gardens already. Oh, this is a little trellis in the backyard, and a little close up to that is some rose hips. I didn't put any of that in there. These are last year's rose hips, and where I live, those are going to be a little mushy right now and old. But and maybe where Rosalee lives, whereas she had frosts and things like that, where things actually freeze outside. Those she might be able to go outside and pick some rose hips off the bushes and add and peel off some of the little vitamin C bursts out of that and put that in the salad too, right?
I don't know. Mine by now they're kind of mushy for me too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, have lots of insect holes in them. I mean, if I needed to, if I was desperate.
But I think of those like when I'm from New Jersey, and so like in the winter there, they had the really tiny ones that would just be like almost like they dried, and when the winter would come, it's like they just dry on the bush, and they're just there for you as like this dried snack anytime. But out here, it's very different in how you relate to rose hips. Than it is back there. So, and then I don't know how it is right now in the springtime either in Jersey. It probably actually feels warm there. I don't know. Does it feel warm there, anybody? It feels cold where I live. So Rosalee has snow on the ground still. So let's see. Oh, I'm just going to finish up here with this daffodil blooming in the yard in front of this trampoline there. And I just wanted to show that. I'm not going to eat that. Don't eat the daffodils, but they're pretty, and it's kind of just medicine that we could all use right now. Some cheery medicine, getting outside, going for a walk. There's a couple of tulips that are starting up right in my yard there too, and just wanted to show off those couple of tulips there.
Very pretty.
Yeah. So there's my little tour, and I just thought I had that inspiration. I was literally getting ready to do stuff today and get ready for this and do other projects. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a salad. I'm going to do show and tell today. So I hope you enjoyed that. And so, yeah, let's see. There was probably some questions there. I don't know. I haven't been looking at the questions because I was talking. But let's get to some questions, Rosalee. What do you want to answer?
I do have a bunch of questions. Karen's been kind of saving people's questions and getting them to me. So let me just review them here. All right. So Laura says, everything I read about foraged food like chickweed, dock, dead nettle, etc., says something about not eating in large quantities. And she says, I think John touched on this too. What exactly is a large quantity? For example, can I cook and eat as much dock as I would kale or spinach? Thanks. Yeah, so very fancy, John. Good question. I don't think that there's like a set amount of how much is too much. Always starting, whenever you're going to eat a brand new food to you, starting out with it just a little bit is a good idea. And by a little bit, maybe it's a few bites or, just a very small handful if we're talking about greens. So I'd always start small and just see how your tummy does with it. So for example, chickweed, wonderful green, so full of nutrients. It's really delicious. It's easy to eat a lot of it. It is high in something called saponins, which is like a soap-like constituent, and people have varying degrees of sensitivity to that. So some people can eat a lot of chickweed, and some people can only eat a little bit of chickweed before their belly starts to rebel a bit. So it really depends on, what it is and how your belly goes with it. But again, no set amount. I would just start with a little and increase as desired, and then back off, if your stomach is saying no, thank you. So yeah, just can't really quantify what a large amount is. Let's see. I'm just looking at some more questions. All right. So somebody got the herbal remedy kit and they made the nettle infusion. That's a part of the kit. And they're saying, what does it mean when it says use nettle with caution in people with dry constitutions? Great question. So somebody who feels dry generally has a dry constitution. And so they might feel like their hair is really dry. They might feel like their skin's dry. Maybe their mouth often feels dry. Maybe they feel like they have to drink a lot of water in order to feel hydrated, or like they drink water and it just goes right through them. So those are signs of dryness. And nettles, especially when you first start drinking it, are also very drying because they're a strong diuretic. And somebody mentioned that about dandelion leaves. Those are also strong diuretic. And so they dry you out. And so if somebody has a sensation of that their skin feels moist and they have signs of moisture, then the nettles can be a great choice for them. Like an example is like non-complicated edema could be a sign of a lot of moisture in the body, and nettles might be a great choice to address that. So that's what a dry constitution is basically the person feels dry, and nettles could be drying. Most people do great with nettles, but people who don't tend to be dry. And the most common complaint that I hear about nettles is it gives people a headache. So if you drink a nettle infusion, it gives you a headache. You can drink less of the infusion, see if that helps. It often does. But for some people, nettles is just not a good match. So that's nettles, another wonderful spring edible that I'm pretty excited for. Someone's asking about chickweed. When is it too big or too advanced to be of use? Yeah, as it gets older and older and goes to seed, flower, go to seed. And initially in those stages, it's fine, but it gets stringier and stringier and tougher. So if you can, when it's young, it's really succulent, it's easy. You can break off a little piece and chew it up and it's going to taste delicious. But if you have it and it's stringy and hard and you pop it in your mouth and it kind of feels like you're flossing instead of chewing something, then it's too far gone at that point. You can freeze processed chickweed and use it as a poultice in the winter time. What you can do is you can, mince it up, put it in a food processor or something, mix it with maybe just a little bit of water, and then put that into ice cube trays, really stuff it in there well, freeze the ice cube trays, then take them out of the ice cube trays, put them in. I like to double zip bag it or Ziploc it, or put it into a vacuum saver bag and put that in your freezer. And then you'll have that in the winter time for a poultice. You can grow chickweed from seeds. I don't think you can grow it from cuttings, but it grows really readily from seeds. It's very easy to grow from seeds.
We've tried to transplant it at times at places, and can't tell you how many times, and it really seems to work well for us. You're taking it out.
Better.
Yeah.
Sherry says she ordered Wild Remedies for the pre-order. So thank you, Sherry. But she's wondering when it comes out.
It
comes out next week. So yeah, it's next Tuesday. It's kind of hard to believe that it's going to be coming out so soon.
Yeah, let's see. I even made this. Wild Remedies is coming April 7th. That's on Tuesday. So I wanted to show
nice. You knew.
Made that ahead of time. And also, so we I hope everyone's on the LearningHerbs email list. You can get that. I can put that up too. Let's see. You can sign up on our Facebook. Oh, look, that's fancy. Okay, I just want to excuse to use a little thing. You can go to a blog post, any blog post on LearningHerbs, and go to the bottom and get on our email list of any post, and we'll let you know next week, because April 7th is why, yes, you can go on Amazon and stuff and pre-order, but don't do that yet. We want to go to a website that we're going to send you, wildremediesbook.com, but still don't do that, because between the 7th and the 13th, if you order then, it may help us get to a bestseller list, because that's the week the publishing companies look for that. And it'd be really cool if we could do as many as we can that week. So if you've pre-ordered already, thank you, and you'll get your book soon. But if you order next week, that would be awesome. So meanwhile, to entertain anyone right now, if you don't know about this right now, free this week, and you can go watch the first 2 episodes right when you're done with us right here. You can go to wildremedies.net, okay? And then you can watch, there's no opt-in, just go ahead and watch it. Episode 1 and 2 of the Wild Remedies docuseries. We're showing it free all week. And so just go check that out and enjoy those today too, please. And we just decided to release those, because lots of people have some time, they're hanging out. You can binge watch those. And they're fun. We Rosalee and Emily Hahn, the co-author of this. See, there's Rosalee and Emily. They went out to the International Herb Symposium last summer. Took the camera out and interviewed 12 amazing herbalists: Rosemary Gladstar, Guido Mazzei, many others, Seven Song, and asked them some really cool questions. And what you see on this is their replies. So yeah, definitely go check out the Wild Remedies docuseries this week. You can just go right to wildremedies.net and start watching. Yeah, that's great.
Stephanie asked if there's any deals for the book, and we don't actually sell the book. So in terms of like the price for the book, that's not up to us. It's up to whoever you buy the book from. But when you do buy the book, you can go to wildremediesbook.com, and we do have a lot of really cool bonuses. So that could be a deal, I guess.
Yeah, you can go check that out now. Yeah, go to wildremediesbook.com now if you want to look at it, but just wait till next week to order, because then you can register there. That's what we're doing. We chose to do is the publishing is we chose to give all these bonuses. We made the docuseries for a bonus for the book. So you'll get to keep those episodes when you register the book, but we're just showing it free this week. And we also are going to have a new gift baskets offering next week between the for folks who order as well, which is something it's going to be really cool. You're going to like it. So we're very excited.
And Bonnie asked if writing reviews helps with the bestsellers list. Writing reviews is really important for the book in the long term, because as you know, as you probably looked at reviews to help decide if you want to buy something, other people do. So reviews are really important. They don't necessarily help with the bestsellers list. That's just basically like what gets sold. But definitely reviews are really important.
Yeah. So, and you can leave reviews after the book, after it's officially on sale. So they actually know people have got their book before they start leaving reviews on Amazon or wherever you got it. All right. So let's see what we got here.
Wendy's wondering if we'll ship the book to Canada, but yeah, we're not selling the book, but bookstores in Canada are carrying it. You can buy the book wherever books are sold.
It's not a learning.
In the UK, in Australia, New Zealand.
It is very cool that their Learning Herbs logos on the book. However, it is published by Hay House and distributed by Penguin. So that's just like it's a book thing. I know,
it's kind of confusing out there, really. Just all the different things. I've definitely learned a lot about book publishing since publishing, having a couple books out now.
We also have a surprise. We'll not telling you what it is yet, but we're going to email you exactly a week from now. Emily and Rosalee are putting on we're organizing it now, so we can't. We're working really hard on it, but their webinar is happening next week, and I'll tell them a little more about it. But it's coming next week to look out for it too, and it's really awesome. You're gonna love it. So Lindy says, did you create it yourself? Create? I don't know. Sure. Create what? And maybe that was in context of.
Yeah, sometimes the questions are hard to see what's going on because
I'm seeing some of these, like this was a comment from Patty on YouTube. I wasn't just able to join with a replay. Wherever you're watching right now, like when this is all done, I think like a few minutes later, refresh the screen and it should just play. Yeah. So you can go back anytime. We're leaving their mentor lives. We're just going to leave up, so there's no replay. I mean, there is, but you don't have to wait. It just refresh. It should play right after. Yeah. There's some just some good stuff being posted. Like every once in a while, Karen from Learning Herbs with us will post something like this. Like you'll see if you go on your little feed here, or I'll just say, like, if Rosalee's website is herbalremediesadvice.org, and between there and the Learning Herbs site, you'll find lots of great resources.
And all of for those of you who are HerbMentor members, all of my most updated monographs are on HerbMentor. So when you use the upper right hand corner, we have that little herbs section, and I would go there for your monographs because those contain all of the most updated monographs.
Thanks, Karen, for posting all these links. I'll actually I'll show you HerbMentor in a few minutes, so maybe we'll just answer a couple more questions. I can just give a quick little, few minute tour. And just to show what this is, because it's HerbMentor Live. Like, what's HerbMentor? But there's so many great questions here. I'm just trying to find one.
So somebody's asking what herbs are good for COPD. And there's a lot of herbs that can really help somebody support them when they have COPD. But because that's such a complex thing, it's not really like there's herbs just to list out. Like you would really want to know the individual, do an intake to be able to know, who is this person? How old are they? What medications are they already taking? How severe is the COPD? And on in order to be both safe and effective. And on HerbMentor, I have a whole series that looks at herbs in clinical practice. And so looking at, what are herbs for rheumatoid arthritis, or what are herbs for hypothyroidism, looking at these kind of common, complex, chronic diseases and how we might think about them in relationship to herbs. So it's, never as simple as like, just take this herb and you'll be better in the morning. It doesn't really work that way. You really want ultimately to work with somebody who's an experienced practitioner who can really guide you through that process so that again, that things are both safe and effective. So the Herbs in Practice is the name of that series on HerbMentor, and you can watch them all straight through. You can watch the first couple, which are kind of introductory, looking at important things like dosage and just how to think about using herbs really practically, and then looking at those individual ones for particular diseases. I forget how many there are in there. I think 18 or 20 in total. So
yeah, I might as well just go and just do that tour now since we're talking about it. And also, it kind of goes in connection to somebody's question on there now about that I saw about, do we have a certification program? And so Learning Herbs, we don't. We really like to go with the inspiration and the what the person wants, what you as a learner are most interested in the path that you want to go on, and we offer lots of information. It's really inspired learning as you're going along. Certificate wise, it's not like in this country, especially, like any kind of certificate or anything is necessarily means anything. Like say if you get a teaching certificate, you can go be a teacher. If I get a acupuncture license like I have, I can be an acupuncturist. But if we have an herbal certificate, there's not really anything professionally or whatever you can really do with that. Some people do have some certificates and programs, and they do have certain purposes. There are some advanced programs that Rosalee has done, and at least a couple of them, that have given her credit towards being a professional member of the American Herbalist Guild. And there's wonderful schools that have certificate and programs like that. But as far as our Learning Herbs goes, we just like to learn and have a good time and not really focus on that, which makes it a lot simpler. And also certification programs, like to keep track of everything and have to hire people, like it makes things more expensive. We always like to make things really reasonably priced and keep the prices down for everybody and keep the overhead low. And let me give you a little bit. Do you have anything to add about certification, Rosalee?
Yeah, no, I think that you really hit upon that. I guess I would reiterate that for the most part, herbal certificates don't carry any weight beyond the importance that we place on them ourselves. I think, sometimes people might ask you, like, what herbal certification do you have? But really, because there's no license, there's no, hard and fast certification. So yeah. I like what you said, John. It's like, by not having certification, it keeps our programs really affordable and best to be led by inspiration, which HerbMentor is great for that, because it really is like, if you love to learn about herbs, and HerbMentor, you get to be a kid in a candy shop, so to speak, because there's so many different things, and you don't have to spend time on things that you aren't, interested in right now. You can really go to like what is piquing your interest.
And you see, like right here, like let's say this is logging on HerbMentor, and you just go to herbmentor.com if you want. And you see right here, there's a course, Rosalee. If you're brand new to herbs, you might start with getting started with herbs. And it's the simplest, like 3-part thing that gets you through, but it's really effective and gives you a good sense of confidence and stuff. Just doing these 3 videos, it's really brilliant. So that's a great way to start, for example. But then if you have some experience or you're not sure where you want to go next, you can choose. So I like to look at HerbMentor. If you look on the top right, it has a dashboard and the forum in the herbs. And this really is great, because I like to think of HerbMentor as a place for courses, a place for community and connection and to get questions answered and all that, and for references and resources. So Rosalee mentioned plant monographs before, and I'm just going to go into the herb screen here. And these are all written by Rosalee, and you're going to say I take Calendula, because we talked about Calendula earlier. Wonderful monographs, more information that you can probably pack into a book for sure, because there's no, we're not bound by the number of pages that the publishing companies that we have to, print. So, but there's a nice list on the left that tells you some quick reference, but there's photos and information. And so when you want to research a particular plant, you can come here and learn all about calendula. And when you need to learn about that. Something that's really cool about this too is that Mountain Rose Herbs is one of our favorite herb sources. The one we always recommend. And when you're a member, you always get 10% off. And if you order a lot of herbs, this could probably pay for your membership itself, just having that discount. And they're friends of ours. They have great quality herbs, and they have lots of herbal supplies. Are they shipping again, Rosalee? They were.
I was just going to check on that. I think they said they would as of today, but I haven't gotten an update on that yet. So.
Yeah, they stopped taking orders a bit because it got a little overwhelming for them, and they had to watch out for their staff too, because there's like hundreds of people working there, and yeah, and so I'm not going to click on the forum just for personal. What am I trying to say? Privacy. Because what's neat about the forum is that, unlike Facebook, it's you can start a thread and keep going back and adding to that, and the threads don't get lost way down. If you want to change a screen name, you can in that way, because some people are a little shy about things they want to talk about when it comes to their health. And also the conversations are all focused on HerbMentor and the content on there and your herbal journey, as well as it's moderated, and it's a safe place because everyone's really respectful, and we're all part of this community. And so it's not like and you have people just doing insensitive and snide comments and things on social media. It's this forum, HerbMentor's been around for 13 years, so we have a very great community. And so that's the forum. But on the dashboard here is all kinds of references and resources. The one I'm going to point out the most are the courses. So let's say you want to do a course on let's say food is medicine, or this one, Relax by KP Khalsa, stress, anxiety, and inflammation. That's a new one. Let's say we love Jim McDonald, so we have Foundational Herb Craft, talks about Western actions and energetics. You can, just listen to these. These are all audio, so you can, there's video versions too, but you can also just click on audio and listen to it like a podcast. So the courses aren't these courses where you're start and finish time and have to get all this work in. That's why we again, with the certification, we'd rather you just have fun with it. Listen to whatever you're inspired by. Listen to these while you're doing the dishes or driving somewhere. Maybe not driving too many places right now, but, and so we're always adding new courses. But Rosalee mentioned one. Did you mention Herbs in Practice, right?
Yeah, Herbs in Practice.
Yeah. So Herbs in Practice is somewhere between a reference guide and a course. And Rosalee went deep into different chronic situations and herbs. And there are these video presentations that you can read on different things, from acne, adrenal fatigue, anxiety. Whenever Rosalee gets inspired to make a new one, she makes a new one pops up on here. She's made all kinds of Herbs in Practice videos, and then there's I love the plant walks, because the plant walks, actually Doug Elliott is this wonderful North Carolina storyteller and herbalist, and he just emailed me the other day, and he's like, oh, it's good to see those on there, and it's I remember making those. That was fun. You can filter by Doug Elliott, and you can watch plant walks by these great herbalists, and we've got a lot of them on there. So he's fantastic. You can't say enough about Doug. Great storyteller and musician and herbalist, and just wonderful stuff. So even Rosemary Gladstar is on there. So you might be wondering, is there anything else I should show about HerbMentor? Because this has always been our baby, LearningHerbs, and Rosalee and I. Rosalee's been working on this, working with me on HerbMentor since it started 12 years ago. And so,
one thing I was going to mention is somebody previously asked about how to do a case study. And if we have that on HerbMentor, and we do in a couple of places, and one of those is we actually have in the forums, one of the like channels in the forums is about case studies, and in there it shows you, the information in a case study, and so kind of walks you through that process. And in that channel, people can actually submit their case studies and we can discuss them.
So I have
an educational perspective.
I have a little something I'm going to offer to people here. Since I kind of have this case anybody asks about HerbMentor, I like to have this ready. I'm going to go over to my little thing here. I have a coupon code. If you go over to herbmentor.com or the HerbMentor page on LearningHerbs, the same page. If you want to save, so this is just for the annual. You can do monthly or annual. So if you want to save $25 off a membership, you can go and join the annual version. They'll just give you access for a full year, and it turns out to be like $72, which is like less than $6 a month, which is less than a streaming service on using Netflix or whatever. You can just use the coupon code LIVE, LIVE, and when you check out, and that'll give you that membership. If you are, I'm pretty sure that if you're currently a monthly payer and you'd like to do that, it's easy to switch over. If you just join again using that, it'll switch you over to your full year versus your monthly payments that you're doing already. So we'll have some offers on the monthly payment coming a little later in April. But since we're on HerbMentor Live, I'd like to at least show HerbMentor because we keep talking about it. All right. So let's see. Cool. Let's get some questions. The best monographs, thank you. Oh, Mountain Rose Herbs is shipping and live. Thank you. Oh, Eleanor, I remember I answered a question from you last week because I remember your name and that strange picture you have on your. Do you have Jenny wants to know, do we have in-person events? Do we? I don't think so. Do we, Rosalee?
No.
Do you?
Sometimes we go to a conference and we'll announce that we're going to be at a certain conference and call it our live event. But yeah, we don't otherwise. Yeah. And I actually had some things lined up this spring and we all know how that went. So
yeah,
a lot of those were canceled. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. We just, we usually go to the International Herb Symposium. I'm pretty sure we're going to be there June of 2021. And that's in Boston. InternationalHerbSymposium.org. It's our favorite. We'll be there. Rosalee, we really want to go, so we're just gonna say we're there, and she'll be signing books, right? And Emily's coming too, and Emily's going to be there signing books, and Rosalee's going to do a class.
Great.
I'm going to manifest all this. Don't tell Jeff and Melanie. Hey, Rosalee said she's teaching it. Maybe. All right. How about the coupon code last? I'll leave it up for the rest of the day for you. How's that? So go on over anytime. You don't have to jump over there now. All right. So wow, it's already past 3 o'clock. We've been on over an hour already. Gosh.
Wow, that went by really fast.
I can't believe it. That is amazing. Do you have to live in the U.S. for HerbMentor? No, worldwide. Anyone can join. There's nothing to touch or ship or send. So it's all digital. So you can join and be everyone all around the world. And as well, and when Wild Remedies, wildremediesbook.com, when that's for next week, or if you really want to pre-order now, you can. But nice if you like till next week. But you'll notice links to Amazons in different countries, like I think there's Australia, Canada, England, and there's some other Australia bookstores in there too, or something. It's whatever the publisher gave us to put on the site. That's what we put there. How about this one? Is elderberry safe for COVID-19? Crystal.
Yeah, I was hoping.
I've solved this a few times.
Yeah. Our last HerbMentor Live, we I think spent half the time talking about elderberry and COVID-19, and I actually wrote an article about that. So I'm hoping Lee or Karen can post that article just for the background.
Mm-hmm.
The short of it is that we have no reason to believe that elderberry is not safe for COVID-19. We haven't, because it's a novel virus, we haven't seen studies looking at its safety record, but we've never known it to be unsafe for any type of virus. We've only known it to be very beneficial. So So the short answer is it should be, and we have no reason to believe that it's not. But hopefully someone will find that article and post that there for you, because I kind of go into the longer explanation on there as well.
And you could scroll down on if you're on Facebook a little further down the feed on Learning Herbs, or if on YouTube, I guess it's probably the last live we posted. You could watch the last live that we just did. She talked, feel free to go and watch that one, or scroll through it and find the place. I'm sure it's in there somewhere too, so feel free. And a little heads up that elderberry will be talked about more in great length. It might be talked about in a webinar coming up next week. It just might be. I don't know. It might be. Just make sure you're on our Facebook, or make sure you're on our email list. Somebody asked about their it was Kathleen Drew, if they're already an HerbMentor annual member, if I use the code and renew. Nah, don't. Just stay a member. When it's time for you to renew, often we give, I think we have a good offer for you that's similar when your thing expires. So you can just stay a member, and we'll let you know before it runs out, and to renew, and we'll have a nice offer for you there. So there's no need to do that. You're cool. Just wanted to mention that, because some people might be wondering that. Let's see. This has been really fun. Oh, the chai. John, the last webinar you were drinking a chai. You mean this chai? I'm gonna try to make Rosalee jealous again.
Yeah.
So good. So how about I am sure that Karen could probably post that.
Yeah,
right?
we're waiting. I can't respond. That's the only thing. Like, this software is so cool, but like I can't personally type in things. So.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out that. We'll have to figure out something like that for that. On Learning Herbs. So now I'm on Learning Herbs. If I go to the Remedy blog, and there's the antiviral herb articles, the last one that's posted there. You can go over and read that. But let's see, if I was just to type chai in, and there is some good chais here. And how about that immune support astragalus chai? Is this the one? Could be. You can click on any of those. Actually, this is one from our apothecary course, and the video is right here. Cool. You could just watch a video, and there's anyway, just use the searchy tool. You'll find it. And then herbal remedies advice. There's probably lots of cool stuff on there. This is Rosalee's site. Please go on over. Herbal remedies advice too, because you can get on a fantastic email list of Rosalee's too. She sends stuff that's different than stuff on Learning Herbs, but just as awesome. So let's see. Did you mention yarrow for lung support? No,
we did not, but as John's been alluding to, that might be coming next week. Going to talk about yarrow. I will say that I do really like yarrow as a steam. We mentioned steams earlier, like with thyme, and yarrow works really well as a steam too.
Okay, so
I'm gonna questions about elderberry and cytokine storms. Those that link that has been shared a couple times now, I go into all of that into a lot of detail. I have many citations. If I went into it now, it would take 20 minutes or so. So just because we spent last time talking about it so long, that I think right now it'd be just best if people just go visit the article and read about that.
Absolutely. I gave a teaser over the title of our webinar next week, but we don't have a registration page yet. Let's see. I just want to I'd like to thank Karen and Lee and Jewel on the Learning Herbs team for helping us out. They're the folks behind the scenes and making sure
they're doing the heavy lifting out there. We're just gabbing, and they're the ones finding all these links.
We see some questions, and we just sit here and drink tea and eat our weeds and our Wheaties. Eat your Wheaties.
Nice job.
All right. So Rosalee, we should talk about the next live and what we're going to do next time, because it's going to be a little different the next time we're on. So the next time we're on, we are going to be so this webinar is happening next week, and it's going to run for a couple of days. You're going to have flexible times. You're going to have like 3 times a day over 2 days that you can watch it. So there's going to be you can even watch a replay. And then we like you to gather up your questions, and then on Saturday we're going to do something like this on Saturday the 11th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I'll be pushing all the buttons in the background, but it's primarily Rosalee and Emily Hahn will be on, and they'll be answering questions and other questions related to the Weeds for Wellness webinar, as well as taking questions or anything that you have from Wild Remedies, because by then a lot of you may have your books already and have some questions, and we really hope that you order next week, because we won't let you forget it. Trust me, it's going to be really hard for you to go anywhere and not notice that this book is next week. You know how I am, folks.
Yeah, we're not gonna,
there's one thing I'm reliable on.
I'm so excited for people to get their copies. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
I just had I heard from Jim today, and he got his advanced copy, and he said that it was an amazing example of how, like, because he saw the digital version early to give an endorsement for it, and he said the digital version just holds no candle to the physical one, and just how beautifully it turned it out. I love the illustrations. I took a lot of the photos, and I'm like, yeah, the photos are okay, but yeah, and the book is arranged by seasons. We did 5 seasons, including late summer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited for you all to get it.
Me too.
That's actually one of my favorite photos. Emily did that photo. It's apple scrap vinegar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love that photo.
I should make some apple scrap vinegar. That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So, yes, and I'm going to put that on there. Thanks, Karen. That after episode, yes, Wild Remedies book. You can go check it out on Wild Remedies book, and you can pre-order, but wait till April 7th, because we can be very cool if we can, like, a week later or 2 weeks later, you go on those bestseller lists and we're on there. Who knows? It's possible. We have no idea if this can happen. Alchemy of Herbs got number 5 on the Publishers Weekly bestseller list, and that was like on USA Today and stuff, right? That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was very exciting. So maybe. So books coming soon. Okay, Sherry says,
I can't wait. Stop teasing. Yeah, sorry. I am pretty excited about it.
Oh, and thank you, Kathleen. No, believe me, your pre-order helped a lot too, because what that did was help a lot of bookstores and the remaining bookstores, whatever ones are out there, and some places to know that it was a book that maybe they should carry, and that's going to happen. That's been placed where, like on Alchemy of Herbs, our local the Barnes and Noble. It was in Barnes and Noble. I saw it in Costco once. Alchemy of Herbs. So maybe Wild Remedies will be in Costco. Who knows? All right.
And it also helps like local small bookstores to carry it too, because if they, it's hard for small bookstores to put in a lot of investment into books because they obviously have limited spaces. So they have to know that people care about the book in order for them to carry it. And so I really love that, because that's how the book gets out there into little communities too. So,
and I'll bring it around.
Deborah got hers already. Wow, that's amazing.
No, she gets my hers Tuesday.
Oh, she gets hers. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think she got it. I haven't. Yeah.
I saw a question out here that I wanted to answer. Somebody was wondering, Maureen wondered, is fresh or dried herbs best for steams? Either work. So just kind of whatever you have on hand, really. I use both, just depending on the season and what I have. So.
Well, and thank you, Sheila, and thanks everyone for coming on here today. Really, really appreciate you taking your time. This has been fun once again. We'll see you on next one of these on April 11th on Saturday. Meanwhile, next week we are going to let you know about that webinar. But right now, you can go to wildremedies.net and watch the docuseries this week on the house. Enjoy that. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you, Rosalee, so much.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Bye, everybody.